as I have. Tony's been a Rotarian for 30 years. His home club is the Rotary Club of Tower Hamlet. Tony, it gives me enormous pleasure to introduce you and to listen to your plans for the forthcoming year. Thank you very much.
President Tim, thank you for that introduction, and it tells you've only been in the job 1 week.
Absolutely. Don't know where the DG lives.
I don't know, I just can't get the staff anymore. Anyway, good afternoon, President, fellow Rotarians and friends. Now, it is my pleasure and honour to be here with you today, and coming to the London Club really is an honour. My official visit entails two parts. One is to bring the information and the message from the RI President Mark Maloney, and then the message from our district. So starting with our President, let me bring you his greetings, Mark Maloney's, the President of Donald Warbank, the RIBI President, fellow hairdresser, and the Rotary Club of Tower Hamlets and President Kiran Patel. So, the first thing I have to do, stand up to me, mate, is to make sure the London Club is properly attired.
Well done.
And you can change the banner from inspiration to connect the world.
Very nice.
Thank you very much, Tony. Lovely.
So, Mark Daniel Maloney is a lawyer from Alabama, and his dream is to connect the Rotary world internationally. I can't think of any club in the world where that theme is more inappropriate, because how well are we connected here? So I won't bore you with 10 minutes of why you need to connect the world, because you're very well connected. And I'd like to just mention our guest from Argentina. It's nice to see you. Our district Rotrac chairperson is also from Argentina. So we're very well connected internationally. Having decided we want to connect the world, we forget sometimes that we need to connect amongst ourselves, our clubs, and indeed our families. So the big push this year is also about connecting our families to Rotary. We want to involve Rotractors and Rotarians as one, because under the Council legislation, they are one and the same, as opposed to a part of Rotary. They are with Rotary. So next is our district. Now, being at the Rotary Club of London is indeed an honour, because it is the premier club in London, the feather in our district's cap, and we're all very proud of Rotary Club of London for not only what it stands, but what it achieves. The enormous service, some of what you're seeing today. As far as district is concerned, the district executive and the team have one job and one job only, and that is to support all the clubs in London, including your club, although you may not need it. When I joined Rotary, Clive is laughing now, because he was a member at Tottenham Wood Green and something, wasn't he? Some years ago. Yep. Also a past district governor, so he knows what district can do. I'm not one for long speeches, so there's only 39 minutes to go. Two things. Nicole, there's nothing better for a district governor to know and be present when there's a new member. And I'd like to personally welcome you to the Rotary family. Please give her a hand. And I'd like a picture with you at the end. My wife's agreed. Excuse me, Stefan, if you don't mind. He's been chatting her up all the afternoon. Because I want to send your picture to our leader right now, because she was one probably the first hairdressers in Rotary to take the highest position. Secondly, Brian, it's really nice to see you. You reminded me of almost 30 years ago when I joined Rotary. You will of course know Booth House. For the benefit of others, Booth House is a rather splendid building of the Salvation Army in the East End. One of my first jobs in Rotary, it's funny because I can imagine it, but I couldn't do it anymore. One of my first jobs in Rotary was to paint a room. They had a smoking room, and we're talking almost 30 years ago, and the Salvation Army could not afford to justify painting a smoking room. So they contacted the Rotary Club of, it used to be known as Stepney, or as we like to say, Saint Epney. And so I was one of the younger members in those days, and said, well, could you help us out? Could you do this for some of the members? And lo and behold, we turned up on a Saturday morning, paint, and I think I got more paint on me than on the walls. But I'll never forget that, because as we left, how grateful they were, you won't forget. So thank you. And finally, Clive, please don't tell us any more of your jokes. No, not today. I'd like to wish Tim and his team the very best in a wonderful, successful and enjoyable year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you. Has anybody got any questions they would like to ask our new district governor about anything in relation to district or his year? Any questions, or is it stunned silence?
I could ask one.
Please.
I asked this of the RIBI president, yeah? The average age of Rotarians, yeah, is around 70. Where do you see Rotary in 20 years' time?
Average age of 90.
So Tim's response is average age of 90. In Rotary, we have understood and do accept that times move on. Change is very difficult. What we've decided at the highest level at Rotary International is that Rotary needs to change dramatically and very quickly. Basically what's happened is, as life has changed, work patterns and demographics have changed. Regrettably, Rotary hasn't changed with it until now. Whereas in the good old days of 30 and 20 years ago, it was easy to go to a club at a lunchtime. I remember my staff used to love it when I went to Rotary, because they knew, that's it, we're not going to see him for the rest of the day. That's not happening anymore. Today's working people have, if they're lucky, a sandwich in a coffee bar, or if they're unlucky, a sandwich at their desk. So Rotary's adapting. We're going towards more evening clubs, more internet-based clubs, less weekly meetings, less dinner time meetings. So with those changes, and to answer your question, I can see Rotary, because of what it stands, being highly successful in the modern era. But they will still need the guidance of people like yourself. Thank you.
Tony, we've known each other for a very long time, probably more years than we care to admit through Rotary, and you've always from time to time come up with different projects. Some have succeeded, some haven't, but if you don't try them, what's the point in doing anything? But have you got any particular project in mind now? We had one recently where we were both involved trying to bring the RI convention to London in 2023. Unfortunately, we didn't do it. I don't think it was any fault of ours. There were things going on in the background of which we knew not. But have you got any particular projects in mind, Tony?
Yes, I have, and I will share them with you. Having been in Rotary for 30 years, I've seen all around the world what Rotary does and how good Rotary does, and the polio program is legendary. Getting rid of malaria, we're doing all these things. But about 4 years ago I was told a statistic. Conflict kills more people than disease and ill health. Rotary has become very focused on conflict resolutions. So, having been involved in the past 4 years, and having been with a heritage from India, my parents are from the Punjab, in 2015 I went to Pakistan for the polio eradication program. My wife stopped speaking to me for a week, because when I got the visa she thought I'm not going to be coming back, because I'd forgotten, although I'm born in England, the Indian heritage, and we just happened to be at war with Pakistan, so it wasn't a very clever thing to do. But what happened is that they embraced me because we look the same, we speak the same, have the same heritage. So why all this fighting? So we embarked 2 years ago on the Indus Peace Park programme. So we want to build a peace park across the border, one side on Pakistan and one side on India. The governments are not agreeable to it at the moment, but we're going to do it anyway, with the hope that if the Berlin Wall can come down, with the help of the people, we will break that barrier. So that's my signature project on a personal level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you. Brian?
Tony, I've got a question. I quite often see in the papers that the emergency boxes for disasters are looking for support and things of that nature. It shows them as together with the Rotary emblem and thing, but basically it says we're not associated with Rotary. Can you explain that to me?
The explanation is very simple. Rotary has a lot of integrity. The programme you mentioned, well, there's two. One is the shelter box, and one is the aqua box, or the water aid.
It's a shelter box, I mean.
Right. So the shelter box is a big green box with Rotary all over it. And that is Rotary's way of being first at the scene. Rotarians all over the world contribute to build a shelter box, which has a tent in it, all the cooking utensils that you would need. The box becomes a water filtration system. So there's hundreds and thousands of these piled up in several warehouses strategically all around the world. So when there's a disaster, while people are talking about what they're going to do, Rotary sends them, puts them on a plane, and they distribute. Because Rotary has the integrity, and they do not wish to spend the money on advertising, because that money is better spent helping people, that's why you don't hear from him. A couple of years ago, it was highlighted, we were first on the ground, yet another charity took all the credit. By the time we responded, it was rather too late. So, unless we have a media machine, which is very expensive, we will have to accept, although we know what we do, others may not. I hope that answers your question.
Not at all.
Okay, please, let's elaborate.
Well, it's got this advert, and it says the shelter boxes basically have nothing to do with Rotary, and it's adverts in newspapers quite often. They're appealing for funds, and it's got the Rotary emblem, says Rotary supports this, but we are not associated. And I just don't understand that.
Independent, aren't
I can't. No. Rotary Shelter Box was started by a Rotarian in Wirksworth in Cornwall. They've now got another centre in the United States, and it is run by Rotarians. So I don't understand.
It's not part of Rotary International, is it?
Yes, Rotary. Every Rotary club.
Separate charitable trust.
Yeah.
Next time you see it in the papers, just look at it, and then you'll
I will do,
see what I'm looking for.
If I could see that, and I'll make a note of it, because that is definitely wrong. And it's a very valid point. I'm glad you made it.
The head office in Mortimer Trout or something, isn't it?
We'll find out.
So we send the money for it. Yeah.
Well, following on from what Brian has said, it seems to me that Rotary tends to hide its light under a bushel, because Rotary is a fantastic worldwide organisation. You're forever reading stuff in the newspapers that Rotary has been behind, but it's not drawn to the attention of the general public. And I just feel, as a Rotarian, and the Rotary Club in London is the leading Rotary club in this country, and I think that probably most would agree with me that we should not hide our light under bushels. We should make our work more known. Yes.
I completely agree with you. We should make our work more known. However, we don't have control over the press. Not only was, when that incident you mentioned about the shelter box, I think it was in Syria, some other charity took all the accreditation for the work. Yes, it was wrong, and yes, we reacted, but the damage was done. Same with polio. There's no one more involved with polio than Rotary. When you read about it, small little charity says, oh, we founders of this, and they take all the credit. The damage gets done, we have to react, but when you react, the damage is done. So it's a very sad thing. But without a proper media machine, How can we do it?
Well, I feel I think, you see, we should have a proper media machine. We are a proper international agency, the Rotary. And I just feel that we have got so many people, so much talent in Rotary, who could see to it that we are more recognised. I mean, I like to pick up my newspaper, and this is something about Rotary, and it's always good. I'm not saying it's not, it's always good, but I want to see more of it. All the stuff we do should be out there and encourage more people, more young people, to come and be Rotarians.
Again, I can do nothing but agree 100%. Why don't we have a conversation, and why don't we start the media machine? Because Rotary Club of London can lead it. You have several journalists in your club as well. So we need to work out how to do it, because if we keep relying on, let's say, head office in Evanston, it may never happen.
Exactly.
Let's do it here. So let's make it happen. And can you lead it with our district support?
I've just come for a long absence, I've already been told off, but following on from Flo's point, how many are on Twitter? How many people have actually go to tweet about this?
And Twitter and Facebook and social media people.
There we are.
So that kind of tells the answer. But we now have a public image committee. So with that enthusiasm, as a part of the committee,
tweet it. Yeah.
We'll do it.
So, last question. I was going to make a point, just to say that as far as Rotary Foundation is concerned, I believe we have the highest award or the highest grade for lowest administration costs. So all the money that's raised in Rotary actually goes to charitable donations and helping all these other, the boxes and the accolades. And whilst unfortunately we don't always get the credit for it, at least we are making a difference to those people who are affected by the disasters.
Again, 100% I agree with you. And there is no other charity in the world, no other foundation that does more work for less administration costs than Rotary. We've won 5 years on the road, the 5-star gold top award in the United States. So it's recognised by those in the know. But I think the problem is, not everybody knows, and that's what our job is going to be in the future, to make sure everybody knows.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. On the age front, the younger front, I did announce last week that Vice President Stefan is going to be setting up a Rotaract Club of London, which will be directly working in conjunction with this club. And the idea is that when it's formed, some of their members will come to our meetings, and we can go to some of their meetings and events. So we are kind of, in our own little way, going to tackle the age issue. Past President Clive, could you please do the vote of thanks?
Thank you, President Tim. Well, as you heard, Tony and I have known each other for many years, and I have to say that relationship has always been convivial. So delighted to see you here today, Tony. I did make reference to the projects that Tony comes up with. He's always got ideas, he's always got new ideas, and I'm sure some of those, it doesn't always come to fruition when you try things, but you've got to try them. And more power to your elbow with that, Tony, and particularly the peace project on the India-Pakistan border in Kashmir. That really is quite a marvellous concept. We're glad to see the district governor here so early in the year. Sometimes it's well on nearly Christmas time, but we're all fresh in the new year, a new president, new district governor. We've all got our ideas. Everybody's enthusiastic for the year. I'm sure you are. I hope you enjoy your year. You did refer to the fact that I was a past district governor, and I have to say, and I've said this many times, it was the best year I had in Rotary. I hope the same will be for you. We wish you all the very best, and can I invite my fellow Rotarians to thank you for having given up your time, come here today and addressing us. And just to prove that you've been here, we have a speaker's certificate. Got to look for the cameraman. There we are. And we'd like you also to accept a Rotary Club of London centenary tie. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.